December 2024. Orlando, Florida. A 15-year-old boy stands over a golf ball, and 4 million people hold their breath. Not because of what he's about to do, but because of who he's supposed to become. Charlie Woods lines up his shot, and in that moment, the weight pressing down on his shoulders isn't just the club. It's history. It's expectation. It's the ghost of his father's prime, the whispers of a billion-dollar empire, and the suffocating question that follows him everywhere: can he ever be enough? The swing is perfect. The ball soars. The crowd erupts. But Charlie doesn't smile. He never does anymore. Because somewhere between the viral videos, the magazine covers, and the relentless comparisons, something changed. The kid who used to laugh on the course, who high-fived his dad with pure joy, started to disappear. And what the cameras captured that day wasn't just a golf shot. It was a crack in the facade. A glimpse of a teenager drowning in a legacy he never asked for. This is the story they don't want you to know. The story of what happens when your name becomes a prophecy, and your childhood becomes a countdown. Tiger Woods changed golf forever. That's not opinion, that's documented fact. 14 major championships. 82 PGA Tour wins. A cultural earthquake that transformed a country club sport into global theater. But every dynasty has a cost. And Tiger paid in full: broken marriages, shattered privacy, a body held together by surgeries and stubbornness, and a scandal that nearly erased everything he'd built. Now his son stands at the same starting line. But the game has changed. The scrutiny is sharper. The cameras are everywhere. And Charlie Woods isn't just facing golf, he's facing the internet's memory, the public's hunger for redemption stories, and the impossible standard set by the man who shares his last name. Charlie Axel Woods was born February 8, 2009. From the beginning, his life was never going to be normal. While other kids played in backyards, Charlie's first steps were photographed. His first birthday made headlines. And by age 2, he was already holding a golf club, not because he chose to, but because the world was already deciding who he would become. The first viral moment came when Charlie was barely old enough to tie his shoes. A grainy video of him mimicking Tiger's swing at a clinic. Frame by frame, the resemblance was haunting: the setup, the rotation, the follow-through. It wasn't just similar. It was genetic. Comments flooded in. He's the chosen one. Tiger 2.0. The dynasty continues. But nobody asked Charlie what he wanted. Nobody asked if he loved golf or if he just loved time with his dad. Nobody wondered if those swings were joy or performance. By age 10, Charlie was already competing in junior tournaments. And he was good. Not good for a kid whose dad was famous, actually good. He won events. He posted scores that made coaches' jaws drop. But every win came with a price: another article. Another comparison. Another chip placed on shoulders too young to carry the weight. Think about that for a second. 10 years old, and every time you succeed, someone's measuring you against the greatest to ever do it. How do you process that? How do you stay a kid when the world keeps reminding you that you're supposed to be a legend? Then came 2020. The PNC Championship, a father-son tournament where professional golfers team up with their kids. Tiger and Charlie entered together. And the world lost its mind. Charlie wasn't just playing. He was performing. His swing was smooth, controlled, impossibly mature for an 11-year-old. The highlights spread like wildfire. Twitter exploded. ESPN ran segments. Golf Channel showed the clips on repeat. And everyone had the same reaction: he's going to be better than Tiger. But if you watch closely, you'll notice something they didn't show in the highlight reels. Between shots, when the cameras panned away, Charlie's face told a different story. The weight was already there. The awareness that this wasn't just a game anymore. That every swing was being archived, analyzed, projected into a future he hadn't chosen yet. Tiger saw it too. In interviews after that event, his tone shifted. He started saying things like, "I just want him to have fun. He'll choose his own path. No pressure from me. And people nodded, smiled, said how great that was. But pressure doesn't come from fathers alone. Pressure comes from millions of strangers who've already written the ending to your story. Over the next few years, Charlie kept showing up at the PNC Championship. Each year, the world watched him grow not just in height, but in skill. His drives got longer. His putting got sharper. The chemistry between him and Tiger became the emotional centerpiece of the event. Father and son, side by side, battling not just other teams but time itself. Tiger's body breaking down. Charlie's talent rising up. It felt poetic. It felt destined. But destiny is a word we use when we want someone else's life to make sense to us. Here's what most people don't know: Charlie plays other sports. He's athletic across the board: basketball, soccer, baseball. He's not a golf robot. He's a 15-year-old kid with interests, friends, and a life that exists beyond fairways and greens. But every time he steps onto a golf course, that life disappears. All that's left is the comparison. The expectation. The narrative that he was born to finish what his father started. And the narrative got louder. In 2023 and 2024, Charlie's performances at the PNC Championship weren't just good, they were legitimately elite. He nearly holed a shot from the fairway. He drained putts that pros miss. He played with a composure that made commentators forget he was still in high school. The praise was deafening. Future number 1. Next generation greatness. Tiger's heir. But between those moments, something else was happening. Something quieter. If you go back and watch the footage, really watch it, you'll see Charlie's body language change. The smiles became rarer. The fist pumps less enthusiastic. The kid who used to bounce between shots started walking with his head down, calculating, processing, carrying. People started asking, does Charlie even want this? Or is he just good at it, and the world decided that's the same thing? Let's be honest, how many of us have felt the pressure of living up to something we didn't choose? A family name. A career path someone else picked. The weight of potential that others see in us but we're not sure we see in ourselves. If that resonates, maybe drop a thought below. Because this story isn't just about Charlie, it's about every person who's ever been told who they're supposed to be. Here's where the story gets complicated. Because talent is real. Charlie Woods has genuine, undeniable ability. Coaches who've watched him say he has the tools to compete at the highest level. His swing mechanics are textbook. His mental game is advanced for his age. If he chooses golf, truly chooses it, he could absolutely become one of the best. But that's the question, isn't it? Choice. Tiger has repeatedly said he won't push Charlie. And maybe that's true. Maybe at home, there's no pressure. Maybe Tiger really does just want his son to be happy. But the world doesn't care what Tiger wants. The world has already cast Charlie in a role. And walking away from that role doesn't just mean quitting golf, it means disappointing millions of people who've invested emotionally in a story they think they're owed. That's the trap. Charlie can choose golf, and spend his entire life being compared to his father. Or he can choose something else, and spend his entire life being asked why he gave up. Either way, the choice isn't really his. It's ours. The public's. The people who decided his story before he could write it himself. And that's where the pressure turns toxic. Consider what Tiger went through. The injuries. The scandals. The relentless invasion of privacy. The loneliness of being the most famous athlete on earth. Charlie has watched all of it. He's lived through his parents' divorce. He's seen his father's fall and resurrection. He knows the cost of greatness isn't just physical, it's psychological, relational, existential. So when Charlie steps up to a tee box now, he's not just playing golf. He's deciding whether the game is worth the price. Whether the love of the sport can survive the weight of the legacy. Whether he can be Charlie Woods the person, or if he's destined to only ever be Tiger Woods' son. At 15, that's not a fair question to answer. But the world isn't fair. And fame doesn't wait for you to be ready. Recently, something shifted. Charlie started pulling back from public events. He didn't play in as many junior tournaments. His social media presence, already minimal, became almost non-existent. People noticed. Speculation started. Is he giving up golf? Is the pressure too much? Did something happen? But maybe the better question is Charlie finally trying to figure out who he is when no one's watching? There's a moment that didn't get much attention, but it says everything. During the 2024 PNC Championship, a reporter asked Charlie about his future in golf. And for the first time, he didn't give the standard answer. He didn't say, "I love the game" or "I'm working hard." He paused, looked at his dad, and said, "I'm just trying to enjoy it right now. Just trying. Not succeeding. Not thriving. Trying." That pause, that hesitation, is the sound of a kid realizing his life is not his own. And it's heartbreaking. Because here's the truth, we don't know what Charlie wants. We don't know if he dreams of major championships or if he dreams of a quiet life away from cameras. We don't know if he sees golf as his calling or his cage. And the saddest part? He might not know either. Because when you're raised inside a narrative, it's almost impossible to step outside of it and see yourself clearly. Tiger knows this. You can see it in his eyes when he watches Charlie play. There's pride, yes. But there's also something else. Fear, maybe. Guilt. The knowledge that no matter how hard he tries to protect his son, the world will demand things from Charlie that Tiger can't control. And that's the paradox of legacy. You build something extraordinary, and it becomes a weight your children have to carry. You achieve greatness, and it becomes the standard your kids are measured against. You change the world, and your children inherit a world that expects them to change it again. If you've ever wrestled with the question of whether to follow a path laid out for you or carve your own, whether the easier road is worth the cost to your soul, you understand what Charlie's facing. And maybe that struggle deserves more than judgment. Maybe it deserves support. So what happens next? Charlie Woods is still 15. He has years before he has to make any final decisions. But every day he waits, the narrative grows louder. Every tournament he skips, the speculation intensifies. Every time he's seen with a golf club, the expectations rise. The optimistic version of this story is that Charlie finds a way to love golf on his own terms. That he competes because he wants to, not because he has to. That he builds a career defined by his own achievements, not comparisons to his father. That he becomes the first Charlie Woods, not the second Tiger Woods. The realistic version is messier. It's a teenager navigating fame, pressure, and identity in real time. It's moments of brilliance followed by moments of doubt. It's a family trying to protect a kid while the world demands access. It's a story without a clean ending because it's still being written. But here's what we know for sure, Charlie Woods deserves the space to become whoever he's meant to be. Not who we want him to be. Not who his last name suggests he should be. Whoever he actually is, beneath the noise. And if that person is a golfer, great. If it's not, also great. Because a life lived authentically, even quietly, is worth more than a legacy built on someone else's expectations. Tiger Woods changed golf. But maybe Charlie Woods' greatest achievement won't be matching his father's records. Maybe it'll be something harder, choosing himself in a world that's already chosen for him. That's the untold story. Not the swing. Not the scores. The choice. The struggle. The quiet battle to be human in a world that wants you to be a symbol. And maybe, just maybe, if we stop writing Charlie's story for him and start letting him write it himself, we'll witness something even more remarkable than another golf dynasty. We'll witness a kid becoming a person. And in a world obsessed with legacies, that might be the most revolutionary thing of all. If this story hit different, if it made you think about pressure, identity, and the cost of living up to someone else's dreams, then maybe this channel is where you belong. We don't chase clicks. We chase truth. And if that matters to you, you know what to do. Charlie Woods' story isn't over. It's just beginning. And the next chapter? That's his to write.